Welcome back on Mode. Today I want to propose you a video about the unboxing review about the Codex Space Marines released in October 2023 by the Games Workshop. This is about the structure of such codex. I'll bring another video specific about the rules, even if I'm not quite sure. Anyway, this is to see what we can find inside, and we can start from the cover that sincerely it's nice, but not so great. I've seen quite a lot of covers like this. Okay, I like the dynamism and so on, but it's better such marine than this one, and this it's not so too much liking. Anyway, it's a really quite good one. We can see that if we flip the codex, it's really quite rich of things, so it's not bad at all. Here it's against the chaos. So as a design, it's not bad. It's not the best, and sincerely it's only the limit about such codex. So now we can open and see the contents. Here we can see the usual back cover with the skimming heads. Here we can flip and we can find this, that it's to introduce this book. Here about the contents, and here about the different pages and so on where you can find, and there are really quite a lot related about the data sheet, that it's the main part about such. And we can yet see that from this part there will be a lot of units that are missing from the classical Space Marines. They are really quite going to be only Primaris book. Here we can find this, that it's quite intriguing because it's a way to see the perception of the different people to the Space Marines themselves, and I find it not bad at all. Here we can find about the genesis of these Space Marines, so you can find how they are born and so on. It's really quite limited. Usually it's much more detailed. This one instead it's really quite a summary of the summary, but it can be really quite intriguing. I love such images. I really like such ones, and they're really characteristic, so I suggest you to watch them because they can be really quite inspirational to create dioramas, to create atmosphere, really. Here we have this, that it's about the composition, how the Space Marines work, so about the world that they occupy and so on, how they are organized. So it's really quite nice to see because they make you understand. If you know yet the Space Marines, it's a repetition, but otherwise it's a way to know about how they work, and because they have also to present, I think that it's really quite amazing, and the images, I repeat, they are simply fantastic, so really quite good. And really there are quite a lot of things that we could say that okay, I yet seen and so on, and okay, if you think about, they could cut off the images, occupy much less space, but still the images are part, I repeat, of the atmosphere, so I quite like, and in my opinion are a must-have. Here there is about a battle, and here it's not something that it's simply a description and so on, because it's a way to know how they work and so on, but it's also an introduction about, for example, the Space Marines dreadnoughts. So it's quite intriguing, the passage, because this part recalled what we've seen in the novel before. And really, there are quite a lot of things to see about the supports, the work of the Tech Marines and so on. So it's really quite intriguing. I like such sketches about the vehicles in this case and so on. So there are quite a lot of intriguing parts, for example, about the Apothecarion, how they work, the Librarius. It's background, basic background, but it's a must-have if you think, because you have to know how this type of army work. And I think that it's really always welcome such type of things. As you can see, there is also a presentation about the main Space Marines chapters, for example, the Ultramarines, the Blood Angels, my chapter. And I can anticipate you that this it's a basic codex, so you see also supplements about the specific ones. So for now you can use this and use in the Warhammer community download the part about the download for the specific Space Marine chapter that you're interested. So this it's the base to work with, and it's something that you have to think about. And I'm really quite curious because there are something like, for example, the Space Wars that you are seeing here, that I'm quite curious if they will be releasing the codex itself, or because they presented here they will be having simple supplement, but I think that they will have a full codex about. So it will be nice to watch what they will go to release, but it's a nice presentation. Here there is about the iconography that you can find, so about the troops and so on, in this case about the Ultramarines. Here there are the successor chapters, and here it's always nice to go to see inspiration, because maybe you want to play with the rules, for example the Ultramarines or other chapters, but you don't like the scheme of colors, and here you can choose some parts that has yet some background or so on, so it can be really quite intriguing to know better, or even to know a bit of background, because anyway if you go to see here you have some notes of background that could be always intriguing. There are also Space Marines that are not so unknown, because there are situations when it happened that the Space Marine has been created and their history has been lost. So it can be really quite intriguing to see, and there are some famous chapters about here. For example, there are Scorpions, the Carcadon, the Minotaurs. So it's really quite always intriguing, also the Mentors. And here other background that it's always really quite intriguing, because it's to present the chaplain. And here we can see about the showcase of the Minotaurs. So we can see some of the Minotaurs. They are mainly listed about the new ones, so mainly they will be about the Primaris Space Marines, or other that are going to be released with the release of such codex. For example, this that it's the Vesillaris. So it's always nice because you can see such images that can be really quite useful. Some information, for example, about this, that it's about the vehicle, the iconography and so on, that can be really quite useful too. And some images about battles that can be inspirational and so on, really quite nice. I love, for example, the aggressors, that are some things that I made the video also about the monetization about. Sincerely, I'm not so a fan of these new Assault Space Marine Primaris that are a mix of the Assault Primaris Space Marines and the Interceptors, but anyway they are nice. Anyway, I'll find other ways to realize these ones. Anyway, it's really quite good because you can see a lot of different ways to paint, to modify specific models. It's always amazing, so I always suggest you to watch about this. And you can see the scheme of colors, the battles, and in some way also the way that you can play the Space Marines in that case. For example, Salamanders will mainly relate about thermal and flamethrowers and so on. So these ones that are mainly related about speed, that are the White Scars. So you can find quite a lot of intriguing things, and also see some other parts, for example the gesticles of the other armies. So it can be really quite intriguing parts, and I always like to see. Here we can start with the rules. Here it is about the combat patrols. So we can find some ways to play, for example the strike force and so on, with this part that it's related about the painting that could be useful. It's not only about the combat patrol, but it's a way to insert this. The rules about the combat patrol, in this case about this that is specific about the Ultramarines, so the strike force Octavius, with the units that compose that one. So at least you have one free rules combat patrol eventually. And here there is the rules about the Adeptus Astartes. There are the main ones, so these are the official ones for the Warhammer 40k. So we have the army rules, these are the main important ones. Then we have this, that it's about the different task force and so on that you can play with the specific stratagems and specific rules about. This could be said to represent the ones that are for the specific chapters. So you can see, for example, from here. So here we have, for example, the Ultramarines. Here we have these that are about the Imperial Fist and so on. So here we have, for example, for the Iron Hands. So each one has its own, and it could be really quite intriguing to see. They are not technically associated to that specific chapter, but it could be a way, so you can think eventually to play with. And as you can see, you can have quite a lot of ways to play, and I think that there is a way to, till they're going to release the Codex supplements and so on, the way really to play with such chapters. Here we have some examples of the armies, okay, but are mainly related about exposing another showcase of miniatures, technically, because, okay, it's nice, but there are a few models for an army of Warhammer 40k. And then we have the mass part of the book that, anyway, you have to understand that it's almost half of the book itself that are related about only the datasheets, and there are really quite a lot of datasheets to remember, so you have really to pay attention about, but there are really quite intriguing things to see and so on. Remember that the rules and the points could be changed, so this it's really good to have a sort of historical, so that you can see what has been when they has been released and how they can behave and so on, and anyway have a referral, so it's really quite intriguing. And remember that there are a lot, for example, of lieutenant, really, but there are really a lot of things that you can admire about, for example, the images. I like that each one of these has its own image. Sincerely, I don't like such a chaplain in Primaris armor, okay, and really quite amazing about also these ones, because there could be an inspiration about. So as you can see, really quite a lot of things that are available. So really, for example, this chaplain has always been only useful for the Blood Angels, but it's here, and the mod is that one, and think that they will go to release another one specific eventually for the models in general. And anyway, really you have a lot of things to take note, but has been also present quite a lot of change. For example, we have the part about the basic Space Marines, that there is the tactical squad, but has been removed, as I said also in a vlog about the part about the assault squad, the basic one. So you have to remember the scout. Remember that has been brought the new ones that are really quite nice, even if I don't know if I'll buy some, but I think that in some box that will arrive, because I have tons of the old ones. And so you have quite a lot of things to see, as you can see, and there are quite a lot of troops. So you have really to start to have fun in creating the army roost and so on, because you could have quite a lot of options available, and I think that it's always nice. And so really you are going to go to missing some of the unit, so you have to really think about. And there are also some units that you start to know, for example the Destination Squad that has been presented, but now it's official and there are the rules about. So a lot of things, and really a lot. Here we have the Devastator Squad. Sincerely, I like that only the Assault Squad has been eliminated technically, but the other ones are really quite close, because here we are quite close to see also these ones, because they are presenting all the new ones, and so it could be quite problematic about. So really quite a lot. We have a mix still of the old, but I like that at least the readers now can be played using also the Primaris. Instead, till some time ago, there will be that the Primaris was suffering the motion sickness to go on the normal vehicles. Okay. Anyway, now there is more flexibility at least, and really quite nice for now. So it's something that you can have quite a lot of fun and start to play with. And then we had this that it's related about the Crusade rules. So we've seen the combat battle, the match play, we can call it like this, and now about the campaigns. And here there is also some way to play a campaign as an example. So we have the rules and so on, the stratagems, the way to play. So it's really quite simple, but it could be really quite intriguing to start, because if you want to start, this can be really a good way to start playing, because you don't have to have all the models needed. With a combat battle box or simple size unit, you can start to play a campaign and step by step improve your forces. So it's always nice, and there are always something that could be intriguing to read about the background in the middle. So it's nice, because anyway there are some things that can be used. And here we have about the points. And about the points, I suggest you to not think too much about, because GW released the points the day before that this has been released with the Codex. So it created something that it's a paradox, because technically it has been released a monitoring field that has brought the new points for the Space Marines, and the next has been released the new Codex, but technically the monitoring fields are the valid one, and there has been quite a lot of changes about that one. So really, we had to pay quite a lot of attention about such things, because they could be really quite problematic. Here, this artwork that I always seen not colored, but here it's colored, and I quite like this one. Here another back cover, and here there is the code that you can use, the Warhammer part, to make that you can have free access to the points, to the rules and so on, and the various strike force and so on that are in this codex from the app of Warhammer 40k. Sincerely, it's not so great, the app, but okay. And then we have the back cover. And here, what we can see about such codex, sincerely, I find that it's intriguing, because if you start to play with, it's nice, because you have the background, you have the rules, you have the way to play the campaign and so on. So if you are going to see the hobby of Warhammer 40k complete, it's surely a must-have. If we go to see instead to see about the coherency, not so great, because the problem about the point, the fact that the rules could be really changed fast along the time, really quite easily, and so on, make this a good way to have a mark, so that you know what has been released and so on. You have to consult and so on, but then you have to use other sources to be able or correct this, because you have to print and the change and so on, and use some sticker and so on to put on this to play with the rules effectively. Sincerely, I like this one, but okay, you have to understand that the most part of this are related about the datasheets, that at least are only one side, not two sides as has been released for the index before this. At the same time, too much space occupied by those datasheets, because if you think about, you don't have so much of the background. Sincerely, consider how much it costs such book. I would have hoped to have much more background available, because I found in the previous books of this codex much more background about campaign, movement, and so on. Here it's much smaller, because there is the presentation and so on, but okay, this it's perfect for who start, but not give too much about new background or so on. Okay, there are the novels that are not bad. Still, it's something in the middle, and it's something that I'm a bit delusional about, and it's a problem. Still, if you're going to play with the Space Marines, I suggest to buy such book, because it's essential for sure. For how much, this is another question. Anyway, from the mode it's everything. I invite you to subscribe to the channel, to ring the bell so to receive notification about new video, to comment under here about this video, or if you want to suggest me new videos. So, I hope to see you again to the next time.